Stay here in this place. Peter said unto them, been on my mind a lot lately. You know, as with any opportunity that the flesh can see your weak spot, can see opportunities to jump in there and try to throw a dig in, you know what? Those fleshly spirits will do it. Those fleshly spirits will do it.
Yes, sure.
And you know, I was one of the verses I was looking at was in the book of Luke. I was thinking somebody had this in, maybe Brother Aaron or Sister Lane, somebody had it in a Bible study here recently. But here in the 22nd chapter of the book of Luke, 22 and verse 31. Luke 22 and verse 31. Like for Brother Ezra, you got that verse here for me? So we'll give everybody a chance to get it here.
32 and what?
31.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Brother Ezra.
And the Lord said, Simon, Simon, behold, Satan hath desired to have you, that he may sift you as wheat. But I have prayed for thee, and thy faith fail not.
That thy faith fail not.
And when thou art converted, strengthen thy
Simon, behold, Satan hath desired to have you that he may sift you as wheat. You know what? Through these last however many weeks that we've been out of this church building, the old flesh said, here is an opportunity that I can start working another angle. Here's another opportunity that I can start working a different angle. I've been given an opportunity that I can start working in someone. Satan has desired to have you that he may sift you as wheat, that he can separate you, from what God wants you to do to what these old fleshly spirits are talking to you to do. Because those old fleshly spirits, they want to chatter. They want to talk to you. They want to speak to you in your mind. But you have to look at it and you got to say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to listen to you. I'm not going to give you an opportunity. I'm not going to allow you to speak to me this way. Because each and every one of us in here, you know what? We can look at our lives and we know what's right and what's wrong. There ain't a person sitting in this building that don't look at themselves in their mind and say, oops, that was something I shouldn't have done. You know what? Our conscience bothers us. Our conscience bothers us on things. But those old fleshly spirits, they want you to continue to override that conscience. They want you to continue to disregard the guidance and the counseling that God's telling you to do. When God's speaking to you, hey, find something else to do. Those old fleshly spirits say. Find something else to take your time away from that, those old fleshly spirits say. But God's still there saying, I want to save your soul. I want to give you instructions that's going to help you. I want to give you instructions that's going to bring you closer to me. But that old flesh, those old fleshly spirits, they're still hanging around. They're saying, here, give me an opportunity. Let's just deny him today. I won't bother you tomorrow. Hey, but remember, are those spirits speaking the truth?
No. They're good at lying.
Hey, they lie, don't they, Sister Elaine? They will deceive you, Brother Aaron. They will lie. But one of the recent Bible studies, maybe Sister Sheila read, sanctify them through thy truth. Thy word is truth.
Yes, amen.
You know why? That was St. John 17:17. The word that God speaks to us, you don't have to worry about that being a deceiving spirit. You don't have to worry about that being a lie. That's the truth. That's the truth. We have, seems like it's been a while since we read it, in 1 Peter. 1 Peter, the 5th chapter. 1 Peter, the 5th chapter, and verse 8. 1 Peter 5 and 8. Nathan, can you read that for me, please? Let Sister Lane get it there.
You said 1 Peter what?
5 and 8.
Good chapter.
Oh, she didn't do that.
Do what?
Go ahead. This is 1 Peter 5 and 8.
Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour.
Seeking whom he may devour. Your adversary, our adversary, the enemy against God, the enemy against righteousness, how does it say it here in Romans, the 8th chapter? It says,
Enmity against God.
because the carnal mind is enmity against God, for it is not subject to the law of God, neither indeed can be. That was Romans 8 and 7. Your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. Who is going to allow these fleshly spirits to devour them today? If it's going to happen during this this quarantine period of time, they're going to work. If it's going to, and you know what? If it's going to happen once we come back, it's going to happen. Because you say, well, Brother Michael, then it's going to, no, you know what? I give in to those fleshly spirits. It didn't say that the adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking anyone he wants. It didn't say that. It said whom he may devour. Are you going to let him in the door, is the question. It didn't say he's going to devour anybody he wants. It didn't say he was going to devour anybody that he runs across. No, you know what? Anyone that he may devour. Who is going to allow him to work? Who's going to allow him in the door? Who's going to allow him in their mind? Because here it is.
Right.
Whether it's that old anger spirit, whether that old, things just aren't working around. I'm so aggravated. I'm so annoyed. I'm so upset. Well, that's going to happen. That's going to happen. Like, I guarantee you, some of those feelings are going to come up during the week, if not every day. Kind of almost every day.
The other day when we went painting golf balls.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Nathan, when you do something that's supposed to be fun, somebody can take it and turn it into anger.
Yeah.
Turn it. Me and the boys will go out. And Nathan, you know, this is. Tell me, correct me if I'm wrong. So me and the boys will go out. and we'll be playing and playing golf, and something will happen and it'll be a bad shot. And I've done it a couple times. Sometimes I'll be playing around and I'll say, "Ah!" and I'll throw the golf club. Well, they laugh, they get a big chuckle out of it. But Nathan, I didn't mean that. There wasn't any anger on my side, was it? No, we were just playing around with it. We were just playing. But you know, as soon as that opportunity arises, if you're going to allow that old spirit to come in, hey, it'll say, "Here's my opportunity. Here's my chance." Hey, we can look at these things. Our adversary, these old fleshly spirits, they can't take you over if you don't allow them to come in.
No, sir.
If you will lock that door, and throw away the key. You know that little kid's song, "Devil is a sly old fox." You know, we've got to lock our doors of our mind. We've got to lock our windows of our mind. We've got to lock these things up so that these fleshly spirits can't enter in. They may knock. They may say, "Hey, it's me, your old buddy." Say, "No, you're not my old buddy anymore. You're right. You used to be my old buddy. I used to run around with you. I used to allow you enter into my mind, but not anymore. Not anymore. I can't allow those things." And those fleshly spirits, they're seeking to devour you. They're seeking to try to take you over. They're seeking to put you in bondage. We used to sing that song, "Wrapped up, tied up, tangled up with God." Those fleshly spirits want you to be wrapped up, tied up, and tangled up in them. We want to get ourselves wrapped up in God. Those fleshly spirits want us to be wrapped up in them. And we can't allow that to happen anymore. Now that we have gained the knowledge and understanding that we've been given, we can't allow that to happen anymore. We know too much. When our conscience bothers us, when God speaks to us in our mind, we've got to listen and we've got to obey. Obey. When you see the power of God working in our life, you know what? We've got to look at that and we've got to say, God's words are true. His promises are real. His promises are, that's what I've got to be obedient to. He's telling me these things. He's given me these instructions so that I can fulfill righteousness. And if we don't allow that to happen in our life, it won't be anybody else's fault but our own. Because this adversary, this roaring lion, says, seeking whom he may devour. Seeking whom he may devour. Lord's will, we'll follow up more on this on Tuesday night, if the Lord's will. But as we allow these spirits, allow these spirits to come in our mind, we've got to look at it and say, you know, I allowed that spirit to enter in. I allowed that spirit to come into my mind. I allowed that spirit to be, that anger spirit, I could have suppressed that anger spirit. I could have pushed that back. I could have gotten my mind on God. I could have gotten my mind on righteousness. Because that verse that I like to use out of Romans says, be not overcome of evil, but what?
Overcome evil with good.
I've got to overcome this evil with good. I've got to overcome these things that are against God's righteousness with His righteousness. I've got to take these things in my life and apply them and use them and meditate upon them and keep them working in my life. Because if I don't keep them working in my life, it gives that old fleshly spirit an opportunity to come in and to start working on us. Gives that old anger spirit, the old jealousy spirit, the old envy spirit, the old looking up to, you know, I want to be the big cheese spirit. What you name it, it's gonna try to work on you. If you have, James says, every man is tempted when he is drawn away of Brother Aaron's lust.
His own.
His own lust. I have my own lust. Brother Aaron has his own lust. Those things that are in his mind work on him. The things that are in my mind work on me. But what's our job now to do? Our job now is to put these down. Get rid of these old fleshly spirits. Get rid of these old things that come up against us, that war against the soul. Because it's that warring against the soul that's going to weaken you if you allow them to keep working on you. If you allow them to keep pushing you down. But God's given us, He's given us His Spirit. He's given us His Word. He's given us these things, these gifts, to help lift us up, to help strengthen us, to help. What'd you say, Sister?
Establish.
You're gonna everybody. If we're wearing a mask, we're gonna have to speak up. Establish, right? We're gonna have to establish. Hey, to get established in these things. But it's up to us to use it. It's up to us to use it. If we don't use it, you know what? He'll give it to somebody else who will. He'll give it to somebody else who will run with it. And I don't want to lose out my opportunity. I don't want to lose out that privilege that I have of fulfilling righteousness because I've wasted my time.
Right.
Because I kept putting it off till tomorrow, Brother Aaron. You know, it's going to come a day when my time runs out. And that old adversary, the devil, as that roaring lion says, hey, I've got him all devoured. I've got him devoured. Those fleshly spirits, I've devoured him, and there's nothing left of God in there.
You know, I was thinking, Brother Michael, like you said, well, that lion in the natural, what he's looking for, somebody who will separate themselves, somebody who he can separate from the pack, and who's willing to, when the pack goes this way, I went that way. You know, that's the same way it is. You know, there's a spirit in here that's looking to get each and every one of us. Anytime when we go outside, you know, it says every sin that a man does is without the body. Anytime we do things, or anytime we separate ourselves from the spiritual body, or that city that we read about in Hebrews the 12th chapter, every time that you and I separate ourselves, he reaches out and gets a hold of us. You might not think that he does anything in your mind, or he strengthens himself in your mind, but he does. You might not think he took anything away from you, but he did.
See? And we've got to examine ourselves. We got to see those things in our life and say, God's given me the opportunity to change. God's given me the opportunity to correct these things. If I don't correct them today, I may not have an opportunity tomorrow, or the next day, or the next day after that. Not that my life is over, not that my life ends the next day, or the next day after that, but those spirits will get so ingrained and so established in your life. Just as we want righteousness to establish in our life, you know what? Those fleshly spirits can get established in our life. And they'll get rooted and grounded and settled in your life. And you're not going to be able to get them out. All right. Let's all stand.